Okay, part two. Let's talk about the numerator and denominator word problems, fraction word problems. The numerator of a fraction, I'm gonna, I like to make things shorter. I'm on 445, example 3, a fraction problem. The numerator of a fraction is 3 less than denominator. If the numerator and denominator are increased by 1, the value of the resulting fraction is 3/4. They want us to find the original fraction. All right, write this down. Let's think. Again, just like in the H problems, we have what it is really, and then if we have an if statement, 10 years ago, if I add 1 to the numerator, that type of thing. So again, we're going to have 2 sets of variables for each of the sentences. So step number 1, numerator and denominator, D. The numerator of the fraction is 3 less than. Numerator is 3 less than the denominator. Denominator minus 3. Is everybody okay how we came up with that first sentence? This first equation from that first sentence. The numerator is 3 less than the denominator. Obviously, we have 2 variables, so I'm going to need 2 equations. Let's go find how to set up the next one. If the denominator are both increased by 1, sorry about that, the value of the resulting fraction is 3/4. If the numerator is increased by 1, guys, it becomes n plus 1. If the denominator is increased by 1, it becomes d plus 1, just like your ages. So here's how we're going to write this. If the numerator is increased by 1 and the denominator increased in 1, the resulting fraction is 3/4. What does that fraction look like? N plus 1 over d plus 1 equals 3/4. Couple of different ways to do this. We call this a proportion. 2 ratios that are equal. How do I solve a proportion? I'm hoping you're saying cross multiply. You talked about this before. When you have a proportion, you have to cross multiply. So if I cross multiply it 4 times n plus 1 equals 3 times d plus 1. And let's clean that up. I'm going to give you a few seconds to clean that up. By clean it up, I mean get rid of all this. Do your distributing property. 4n plus 4 equals 3d plus 3. You could even go as far as getting this 4 and this 3 cleaner. So subtract 4 on both sides. Now here are your 2 equations for step 3. N equals d minus 3. 4n equals 3d minus 1. It's already set up for substitution, so just leave it substitution. Put that in there. So that's 4 times d minus 3 equals 3d minus 1. 4d minus 12 equals 3d minus 1. Subtract 3d on both sides. 4 d minus 12 equals -1. Add 12 to both sides. D is 11. So the denominator of the original fraction is 11. Got to find the numerator. Stick your D right there. N equals 11 11 minus 3, n equals 9. 9. Step 4 is to check. And step 5 is to state the answer. This is our original fraction. So let's go back and talk about what we did. Did I make a mistake somewhere? Anyone? Yes. Because I don't know how to subtract? Is that what you're saying? Thinking, hey, 11 minus 3 is 8. See, you're not here to help me. I'm all alone and Ruby's writing a lot of stuff on the board and wasting all my markers. But if I would have checked this problem, I would have found my answer. I would have found my issue. I would have said, oh, this isn't working.
But if you're smart enough like me, you don't need the check step.
So you should check, because
Don't check.
Ruby doesn't check and she doesn't make good grades either.
Yes, I do.
All right, let's try one more of these. Once again though, so we have the numerator being n, the denominator being d. We wrote the equation. The numerator is 3 less than the denominator. Obviously, two variables need another equation. If the numerator and denominator are both increased by 1, so we showed what happens when they're increased by 1. This is your variable expression when it gets increased by 1. The resulting fraction is 3 over 4. So we set up a proportion, two ratios that are equal. We cross multiplied to clean it up. And we got our two equations. We use substitution to get it in there, do our work. I need to learn how to subtract correctly right here. But our final answer was 8 over 11. Let's try another one of these. Let's see. Look at page 448, number 15. 448, number 15. 448, number 15.
Say it again, I don't think they heard you.
All right, here we go. The denominator of a fraction is 8 more than the numerator. The denominator of a fraction is 8 more than the numerator. So we have n for numerator, d for denominator. The first equation, the denominator is 8 more than the numerator. Is everybody okay with that from the words that we read? If 3 is added to the numerator and the denominator, this is our if statement. So our variable expression changes in this next sentence. An equation we're going to write from it, you have to use these guys. If 3 is added to the numerator and the denominator, the value of the resulting fraction is 1/2. Please make sure to put the n in the top and the d in the bottom. Numerator, denominator, don't forget that. Once again, we have a proportion, and I want you to cross multiply. Clean this up. You have it set up for substitution already. D equals n plus 8. 2n equals d minus 3. Could you use elimination if you wanted to? Absolutely. Absolutely. You want me to use elimination? Because I can. I'm going to make the d's opposites of each other. So I'm going to multiply this by a -1. And I'm going to say negative d equals negative n minus 8. I'm going to kind of flip this order real quick. 2n equals d minus 3. Negative n minus 8 equals negative d. I'm using elimination. So I multiplied this equation by a -1. All of the signs changed. Putting them together, I'm going to add them together. My d's cancel. I get -3 equals n minus 8 add 8 to both sides. N equals 5. So my numerator is 5. My denominator is going to be 5 plus 8. See if I can add these two correctly. 13. So my original fraction is going to be 5/13. Now if you don't want to use elimination, you don't have to. You can take this and plug it right there. 2n equals n plus 8 minus 3. 2n equals n plus 5. Subtract n on both sides, n is 5. I get the same answer, folks. You choose the way that you would like to do it. Some people like elimination better. To me, these work better using substitution because it's already kind of set up for it. You don't have to do any extra work. Okay. There you have it. Those are your age problems and your fraction problems. So tonight for homework, you're going to work on page 446 in the oral exercises 9 through 22. They're really quick, you just read them. It's almost like that rate and current where it said if the rate is 50 and I'm going down the current, you would put 50 plus C. If I'm going against the current, 50 minus C. So these first 9 through 22 are not very difficult. They're not 5-step word problems. But on the next section, 447, you will do the 5 steps like I've been showing you in class today. We're going to do 11 through 19. 5 steps. Okay? So here's your assignment for Tuesday, March 17th. Email me with any questions. Guess I'll loiter while Ruby comes over to turn my video off. Okay, have a good day. See you tomorrow.